What's up, you guys? Today we're checking out this video with Robert Greene, which if you don't know who he is, you absolutely should. Now, in these types of videos, if you've never been here to my channel before, I like to kind of break down some of the things that people talk about, go a little bit deeper than what they have on some of the principles and fundamentals of what they are going over. Now, this is only a 3-4 minute video, so it's relatively short for the things that he's going over. Anything that I can add to it, I like to do that. If you end up liking the video, feel free to subscribe, and yeah, let's get into it.
We can become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create the need to get things done.
Yep, very true.
It's easy to be
Because we'll always take the path of least resistance, basically, right?
lazy if you don't have any emotional connection to what you're involved in. I'll give the example that I have personally is when I lived in France, I had spent years learning French in the university.
Got a lot of cuts in here, but okay, so yeah, like if you don't have an emotional attachment to the outcome, to the goal, to the vision that you have, which is something that I talk and teach about a lot. I mean, you're not gonna be able to push through the difficulty. The odds of you pushing through the difficulty are very, very low unless you attach an emotional connection to it that will pull you through that.
But it never really sunk in because I wasn't paying deep attention to it. It didn't mean so much to me. But there I was in Paris. I had to struggle. I had to survive. I had to get a job. I had to get a girlfriend. And suddenly, because I had to do it, because it was important to me, because it was necessary, because it was what I call death ground. Either learn French or get the hell out. You're not going to be able to survive. I learned I wasn't lazy. So your laziness is something that has to do with you. You're not connected to something deep enough. You don't feel the necessity. You don't feel the devil at your heels.
So I talk about this too with like procrastination, right? It's like, are you really procrastinating because you're lazy, or is it just that it doesn't mean that much to you, or as much as you maybe think that it does? Because a lot of the time people are like, oh, I have to, I don't know, like I have to do this thing. I have to get this work done. I have to start waking up early. I have to work out. I need to do this. And then you don't do it. And then you feel like garbage because you're not doing it. But why aren't you doing it? Is it because you're lazy, or is it because it doesn't actually mean as much as you're telling yourself that it does? And if that's the case, and you really do want to do these things, right? You really do want to start doing all of these things to better yourself, better your life. You need to put an emotional attachment to it that's going to carry you through the times that you don't want to do things, that you do feel like being lazy, that you feel like procrastinating, but that emotion is going to force you to do it. Like he says, put yourself on death ground. Either do it, make it happen, or get out, right? Burn the boats. We know that analogy too.
You don't feel the fact that you could very well die tomorrow that will impel you to get something done. There's no necessity behind it. And the human animal, the way we were created, is when we feel pressure, we feel the necessity to get things done. We can move mountains, and we had plenty of examples of that in history. But when that pressure, like almost like a barometric pressure, releases, and we don't feel the need to get something done, we can become incredibly lazy because there's no necessity. So you have to create necessity in your life. You have to create the need to get things done. You have to give yourself deadlines. You have to remind yourself that tomorrow everything could go kaput. COVID could come back. You could be fired.
Yep.
You could die. You could have an illness. Give yourselves a sense of urgency that I need to get things done.
I think about this all the time. Tomorrow's never promised. You never know what's going to happen. Somebody could die. Something terrible could happen. Like, is it likely? No. But if you keep that in the back of your mind and just think that you have to live with no regrets and you need to get everything done that you need to get done today so that you can hit your pillow at the end of the day, not having any regrets, not regretting anything. You got things done that you needed to do, and you don't feel shame and you don't feel bad about the way that you're living your life. You're going to live a much better, much more productive life, but you're also going to be living in line with the way that you feel is valuable. And you're going to feel good about who you are and about the way that you are living.
Quickly. And then when it comes to making decisions, a lot of time what afflicts people is this idea of, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to start my own business. I'm not ready to quit this job. I'm not ready to break up with my relationship, which is toxic or whatever. Give me another few months. I've got to prepare myself. I want you to get this idea that you are ready, that you have to try and do things before you think you are ready,
Before you
right?
feel
If
ready.
you think, well, I'm not prepared to start this business, I need to go back to business school, I need to learn more and more, shut up and do it. Just jump in the water. You will learn more by starting before you think you are ready. By making that decision, your brain will kick into action. You will discover all this energy that you had that you didn't think you had. So make the decision before you think you're ready is the other thing.
So true. So true. Most people, you have so much more skill and knowledge and capability than you think that you do, and we put our own limitations on. Like, we limit ourselves in our own mind. Oh, I need to go back to school. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to get ready for this. When really you probably have most of what you need, and the other part of what you need you're going to learn along the way. And you're not going to learn by taking it easy, taking forever, procrastinating, putting it off. You're only going to learn by jumping in, swimming with the sharks, and making it happen. And you're going to learn through experience the things that you need to know, right? Fear is what holds most people back, not actually lack of knowledge. It's lack of execution and fear of that holds you back from doing the things you already know you need to be doing.
The final thing I would say is laziness is not all that bad. I must confess that I have moments of laziness. If I was always intense, if I was always on trying to write my books, I would probably be dead by now. And actually, I almost did die because of that. And I've learned over the years to always kind of incorporate moments and hours so where I waste the hell out of time. I'm looking on sports websites, etc. I'm surfing for this or that. I'm reading things that aren't really important. It's important sometimes to take downtime and let your brain unload and not be so focused and on. So it depends on if laziness is a chronic habit or whether you build a little bit of laziness in your day-to-day affairs and give yourself some leisure time, some time to relax. So that's how I would answer that particular question.
It's so true. It's so true, because you have to have like hobbies. You have to have enjoyment. And if you enjoy working, great. If you enjoy the things that you're doing, great. But you kind of need that, like you said, a little bit of downtime as well. I would say with the laziness is sometimes we figure out ways to make things easier and more streamlined and more efficient by not wanting to do as much work, right? So there's sometimes where we're like, oh, I don't want to do all of this like tedious stuff. How can I streamline this? How can I make it easier for myself? And that comes from, you could say, laziness, where you're trying to make it easier on yourself. And that's a good thing though, right? You're freeing up time to do more things that you enjoy, to spend more time with your family, to spend time with your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, whoever's watching this, right? All that kind of stuff. Now, I really like Robert Greene because his books are fantastic, right? The principles that he teaches, those kind of, all this stuff, obviously everything we just talked about and went over, they're incredible for happiness, productivity, understanding humans, understanding ourselves, right? All that kind of stuff. Um, Listen, if these are things that you want to work on, if you struggle with procrastination, if you struggle with, putting things in perspective, if you want to be able to ask yourself the right questions, to put an emotional attachment on the goals that you have, on the vision that you have for your life, and you really want to start getting things done at a massive scale compared to where you are right now and really start making a lot of progress, hit my link down below. Let's see if it makes sense to work together. And otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video.